Caudle's very fast, though. It's pretty hard to catch. Dawnbreaker, yeah, I guess you can try and catch the Dawnbreaker. At least slow her down, keep her away from your allies. So this could definitely be a better Jakiro game if you just get the positioning right. But we got the Bat Rider. I'm happy to see the Bats coming back in. It's actually been quite a long time since I've seen the Bat Rider last time being played.
Yeah, and it's shaping up to be an off-lane Batrider as well, which means that this Lifestealer pick's pretty damn good. They just wanted something that was going to be able to not care about the sticky napalm for the laning stage. So, yeah, I really don't hate this one. Just on the Jakiro again, I feel like the Ice Path, obviously, you've got the good setup with the Tiny and the Jakiro, but as long as you're just in position, not being the one getting caught out by the initial jump, you're always going to be able to interrupt the shackles. And even the Solar Guardian, right? You could channel it up and look to come in, but you know where the Dawnbreaker is coming exactly. You just layer down your spells, and you guarantee that Dawnbreaker is going to get hit by that initial stun combination.
Last phase bans. What are the more likely ones? You see the Lifestealer come out, so obviously Made in Philippines will have to, or at least TNC wants to take one counter away, for sure.
Well,
counter,
looks like they're thinking they're position 1. Yeah, morphling, yeah, against the Lifestealer is pretty damn good, right? You just morph into him, you get a free BKB, essentially.
True.
It's a nice solid way just to be able to use that. Other heroes that are pretty solid against it, even though it's not fantastic, Troll Warlord, PA, it's actually a really good PA game. If you're able to get close that space onto the Keeper of the Light, just man-fighting against a Lifestealer is pretty strong. Ursa's not horrible against a Lifestealer, but I'm just a little worried about him getting kited a little bit. So, yeah, PA is probably the avenue that I'd look to go down.
Kinda would like to see this this setup that the Kunkka would be the carry instead. Maybe promote the Bat Rider into mid. Play a 3 Tiny, maybe. I'm not sure if they would prefer to have the Tiny as a 3 at all, if that's something that they would even consider a possibility. But I just kind of see the lane going a bit. It can be hard, but you're looking at maybe sacking a lane against the Lifestealer if you're not putting the emphasis on shutting down or slowing down the Lifestealer, because that's something that you have to take into account. Is there a lane we have to sack with the current draft, or can we play them all out in a balanced fashion?
Well, I feel like if they wanted to go potentially this off-lane Tiny, right, they could have just picked up the Razor for themselves, but they were actually the ones to ban it out because they're wanting to go some kind of position 1 that doesn't have the greatest amount of mobility, so that leads me to think away from the PA. Of course, very easy way to be able to just jump out of the static link. TNC banned the Juggernaut, just again, another one of these pretty reliable heroes that doesn't care too much about the Dawnbreaker lane. But what's really left that's just wanting to sit there and, I mean, maybe it's Ursa, you know?
Well, yeah, it could be the Ursa. I don't think the Wraith King's great anymore, and then there's the Weaver that Ken also played in game number 1. Everything else that from his hero pool that he's played is banned, so it's either the Wraith King Weaver or something new.
I mean, the lockdown isn't amazing, so yeah, Weaver'd be pretty solid, right? Just, again, you see the Shadow Shaman, which you probably will because Batrider's going to be making that him or Coddle, the number 1 priorities, and then just stay away from the Shaman, do whatever the hell you want in these team fights.
Faceless Void.
All right.
Okay, so they want to grab it for themselves, take it away from TNC, who played the Faceless Void in game number 2. I had this little dirty thought that if they put Kunkka 1 and they put Weaver 4, just for the saves against the Shadow Shaman Hex Shackles.
10 seconds.
Okay, I mean, I think they've got the Jakiro already for that, though, right? Like, the Ice Path is still going to be really effective against the Shackles, so I think they're not as worried about that. But the Faceless Void's alright. I think they're really just prepping for this Keeper to be mid. Like, they just really don't want this Coddle to take over the game. But it's a bad Coddle game now, like, if you want to play it mid. You just need to amp up your Dawnbreaker as much as possible, I feel. I feel like this should be a Shaman 5. A Coddle 4, just dominate that lane. I guess the Void can just time walk off everything, and it's a Bok Enigma. Okay.
Bok Enigma. Let's go. I'm rubbing my hands together here. I'm ready for this one. Is this the winning Enigma game though? Late game scaling from Faceless Void, from the Enigma. Lifestealer's pretty decent at that. Kunkka is also very good at the late game parts of the game, but I think mid game is the emphasis once again in this game.
I just need to see where Dawnbreaker is being played, honestly, for me to make up my mind as to whether this Enigma could be the difference, right? Because you can't look at a hero in isolation all of the time. It's how does it fit with the rest of the draft and the the items that are going to be coming at the certain times. It's a pretty horrible black hole game, though, right? Like, Void, Jakiro, Kunkka, Tiny all have abilities that are going to be able to stop that from happening. So I really want to see Bok. It is still a mid-coddle, wow. I want to see Bok go into a little bit more of the just use all of your other spells route, right? Like, go into perhaps a Wraith Pact, maybe go down the route of an Octarine Core, you know, something along those lines that's just going to give you a little bit more effectiveness in these team fights where you don't have to rely on that black hole, because I can't see him landing too many great ones. And if he does, then Bok is the greatest Enigma of all time.
You know what I'm thinking about for Bok here? Rush BKB. Forget the blink.
But they just get chronoed. It doesn't really matter, right?
Yeah, there's the chrono threat is definitely there all the time. That's something that they do need to pay attention to. At least the Dawnbreaker is there to give a bit of help against the Face's Void, and especially if Carlo rushes Aghanims this game, you've got the evasion, which will help at least force the Face's Void to build an MKB this game. He needs another item that will slow him down a little bit until he is in full power, unleashes his true form. So in that case, if the team baits, Enigma has roaming capability. If the Enigma is the target, then it's down for the Lifestealer Dawnbreaker combo to get some stuff happening. And it is a tough game for TNC, but I'm an Enigma believer. I'm an Enigma enjoyer. I'm going with TNC.
Do you see it's an offlane Kunkka, by the way?
Repeater Kunkka.
That'll be interesting. I was wondering if they might try and flex it a little bit, because Kunkka is one of those heroes that just does... Oh, see, you having a look at the minimap? You see all those pings? He managed to fit in 5 pings already in the first 2 seconds of the game. This is how they do it. They try and sneak it up on you.
Believe in the numbers. That is... That is already a great start for that. I mean, it can have something to do with long games coming in as well, but I just want those pings to translate into actual communication, not just randomly smashing buttons and stuff like that. Instead, just, you know, I'm giving you info, use that info. You ever get that feeling when you're playing with friends and you're telling stuff, but it feels like nobody's listening?
Yes.
Those are the pub games where you're lacking focus and you're not in the game at that zone. You have one guy who's on fire, he's got good momentum. You have one guy who's complaining about sitting in the base for 30 minutes, playing a Lich and just putting down the shield to protect towers, and he's really got nothing to do, and he's losing focus. So that's where tempo control, tempo change is something that you would love to see from some teams to happen. To wake up your teammates. Let's go, come on, god damn it, we need to make plays. Let's do these, let's make this happen. And get that morale speech. Big pings.
Well, they're looking to try and bait out one of these early first bloods, just roaming as a complete team. Looks like TNC are pretty aware of it, though, wanting to just stay far away from where they're seeing the heroes start to come from. There we go, JG, Losify. They're going to walk underneath this observer ward. Teehee also revealed himself there, so Carlo feels pretty safe to go up towards this top bounty rune, and it'll be a 2-for-2 split.
I'm a bit disappointed that Bok actually starts by eating the range creep instead of the second melee, because...
Hold up. I really like this from Made in Philippines. I was saying it before Rapido started his pingings, right? I love the fact that they've changed these lanes. Kunkka is the best hero, except maybe a Bristleback and maybe an Alchemist at being able to deal with this Enigma in the laning stage. Enigma is all about playing around your Eidolons. Like, it's the strongest part of the hero. So the fact that Rapido made the choice to be able to come up top, it means that you can actually deal with the Eidolons, because just click on one of the Eidolons and hover over it and just see what the little extra attributes it has, right? 2 armor, not a lot, which means not a lot of physical resist, 60% magic resist, or damn close to it. So you need a physical AoE ability to deal with it, and that's exactly what a Kunkka has. I really like this move from Made in Philippines.
Will definitely help them out in the laning stage, and that is indeed probably what they were thinking about as well, setting these up. That Kunkka getting the solo XP is much better than playing this Kunkka in duo lane in the off lane, where you get some farm, you get some XP, but then you're lacking in both departments. So if you're lacking in XP, you'll still have farm, but if you have a lot of farm, and you know that will also translate into a good amount of XP for yourself. I'm not sure if I said the same thing twice there in the same order, but the thing is, I agree with you. I really like this move, and now getting a tri-lane versus a duo lane. This doesn't give the Shaman much room to make any plays here.
There we go. 2 Eidolons already claimed.
It's gonna be tough. Yep.
Repeater. He's just able to dodge out a lot of this damage. And also, just by going here at the very start, by predicting this, obviously Bok probably isn't going to change too much about how he plays. You've got that, I call it the second mover's advantage, right? Where, you know, you might be able to TP away from the lane as the Enigma to try and not get this matchup, but then Repeater just follows you, right? And then you're stuck in the other lane.
Currently, at least, some space here now given for Ken. Always pretty happy with how this early 2 minutes has happened for them so far. Maybe this even gets a creep pull, but Teehee is in between. Very good dual breath connecting on both the heroes and the entire creep wave. They have a massive wave in front of them right now, and Ken is even getting the XP for it because Lucify is on the other side. Looking for the toss. Does he get it? Nope. Was looking for it.
I'm trying to think of who this actually benefits on the bottom side more, right? Like
same.
I'll be honest. You don't really want to be underleveled on Made in Philippines, right? It feels like one of these lanes where you probably do want to put a point in time dilation. Although MIPH could be in a little bit of worry.
He blocks. He ain't going anywhere. That's first blood for sure. Lucify will snatch the last hit. Make sure that that first kill does go for Made in Philippines. That's already a big indicator for them. Getting that kill. Faces Void's level 3. He's got the survivability with every spell now picked up. They've got a lot of slows, time dilation, dual breath, and then the Tiny obviously coming into play with the avalanche toss combo. And maybe that gives us more of an answer as Repeater gets smacked down by the Dawnbreaker and Box Enigma.
See what he actually took the damage from. A lot of it was from the Eidolons, I believe. No, actually, never mind that. It was a lot of it was just from the Malefice. He chose to put a couple of points into it super early on. Only just now, once he hit level 4, actually, I believe, having the Eidolons leveled up. So not wanting to give a lot more of that valuable experience over, prioritizing killing him so that you can get that extra little bit of farm. But you see what happens. Eidolon's gone completely, although it means that now we've got a much more traditional 2v2 lane.
Yeah, and that's basically what they already got out of this lane. They got the early levels for the Kunkka. 2 points in the Tidebringer already helps a lot in clearing those Eidolons. It's not too great at level 1, and neither are the Eidolons good at level 1 either. It's usually the level 2. Level 3 is such a big power spike for Enigma to start harassing and poking. But a hero like Kunkka, already having a Bracer, 1040 HP, like, what the heck are you going to do to this guy? It's just a farm contest and trying to keep your Eidolons alive.
Yeah, and, you know, we talk about power spikes for him as well. As soon as he hits that level 5, you know, the Tidebringer is only going to have that 7-second cooldown. So I feel like Repeater is just going to be roaming to wherever Enigma is and stopping the push from happening.
Basically, every time the Enigma shows in the lane, the Kunkka should always be there to respond. Even if it comes with him losing maybe his life, would require 3 heroes from TNC to rotate to actually kill the guy. Even with a level 6 with 1 point in Midnight Pulse and a Black Hole, you're doing maybe 35 to 40% of the Kunkka's HP pool. He's got a lot of armor, he's got a lot of HP, and he's got a lot of regen as well, which is a positive side for Kunkka. And sustaining. He has more sustain in this lane.
Yeah, for sure. I want to see how Ken builds this time around. Just to see if he goes the time dilation route, which obviously not just something that Yoe's been doing on his own. We've seen it in other scenes as well. I believe Ame even did it for LGD with some pretty good success.
Yeah. We did look at some of the numbers that the time dilation damage did deal in that last game. We're talking hundreds. Plus 30-minute game, so it's not a lot, but the slow is good. Carlo looking for the opening here, but the Starbreaker doesn't quite connect, but a lot of poke onto Rebedo, and despite having those double bracers, will take a bit of a beating here. Has the X-Mark teleport back home. Should be returning to almost full health as he returns back to the lane. Lucify coming off the side. Enigma's a bit weak currently. Eidolon's coming in for the rescue. Lucify looking for nobody blocks, but the Black Hole on 2, and Carlo line up on both. Very good combo coming out. Rapido down. Lucify should be dropping as well. Double kill. You call that a Black Hole? That's one.
God damn. Oh, and that's lag just in all caps from Yoe. Just really wanted to send the message home there. But, wow, what a great player. I was honestly surprised that he was already up to level 6 on the Enigma. Just being able to pick that one up, have good communication coming through. Didn't need the pings that time around to enable Carlo to make the rotation back in. And, man, this damage coming through from the Dawnbreaker is just insane. And, more importantly as well, the glyph, I believe, has already been used previously. So now you've got a siege creep, you've got the split Eidolons as well, level 3, pushing into the tower. This is going to go down really quickly. And, I mean, who can you rotate? Faceless Void can't deal with it, and Batrider doesn't want to leave this mid lane. He still needs that early farm, so the fact that they were able to get all 3 other heroes means that this is almost certainly this top tower secured for TNC.
Yeah, a very important moment to take the pause as well. Calm down the tempo if there's such a momentum black hole there from Bok. Get yourself some mate. You bloody Cougars. Going to go for the lasso. Batrider's going to be able to take this one and punish him down
personal
there.
offense for that team.
I tried.
I don't even know if they're going to clear out the Eidolons. Yeah, they're all basically still living. You still lost the tower. JG still made the TP up towards the top side. And, I mean, it just means that Krish is able to continue on farming.
60 CS on the Coddle. Good numbers. Usually something that the Kunkka also hits. If the Kunkka's a carry, you can easily get the 5k net worth in the first 10 minutes. I actually want to look at net worth right now and see where he's going. He has 3,800 7 minutes in, so very free Coddle game as it is for things to start off of. But he's going for Vessel and the Boots of Travel. You know what I would have been a big fan of? I would have loved to see an Orchid come up for this Coddle.
Okay, yeah, just something to continuously lock down the, well, who's he locking? Like the Faceless Void, just preventing the scaling potential?
Yeah, and I mean, Faceless Void in those crucial moments, unable to escape. You don't necessarily need a stun because you've got the slows already of the blinding lights or the blinding flashes and all that, which will help you out with getting the extra damage. But the Orchid really enables his Coddle with these Boots of Travel to just move around and punish. As Mavis, he does have the shackles up, and there's an X mark as well from Rapido. No boat available. Illuminate does bring him back to full HP though.
Alright, a little bit of a kill attempt on the mid lane, forcing some kind of rotation. I mean, any time that you're able to bring someone like a Batrider and the Kunkka to a single lane, it's a big win for the opposing team, right? Because it's 8 minutes in. You don't want cores to be helping out in mid lane unless it's like some massive dive where you're able to turn around a team fight with a big ultimate usage, for example. You just need to be farming, and, well, JG, he'll be able to get that. Lucify should be fine.
Maybe it doesn't want to tank a tier 2 tower at level 4. He's already down to half HP for sticking there for a second. One thing I want to bring out about this Enigma, too often do I see a good Enigma come out from the laning stage and then get stuck between the 10 to 20 minute marks and having 0 item progress. So you get something like a Blink Dagger, but you're not able to make any plays happen. Or you go for something, you know, Midas would help in many occasions, but you know you're not a Midas lover, and I don't think Midas would be the item choice either in this game. Wraith Pact is pretty beneficial, but you want to keep those numbers flowing in your favor. So too often do I see Enigmas just get stuck between the 20 minute mark. That's what we're looking at. Chris being targeted in mid though, and Mavis gonna get X mark. Boat is available. Ice Path coming in as well. Connection to certainty, and slowly burnt down to his death.
Yeah, it's why I'm not a big fan of like these Enigmas that just go the Blink Dagger early on, right? Like if they have no way to cancel it, then sure, right? Because it means that you're going to be able to convert on these black holes to give your team your team the wins and set up for tower pushes and all that sort of stuff. But in a game like this, it's why I was really vocal about wanting Bok to make sure that he was going this item that's going to be just useful at all stages of the game, whether you have black hole or not. Wraith Pact is always good, right? Even just the Vladimir's offering is always good. You're buffing up the damage. Dawnbreaker as a position 4 is going to be able to do a lot just on his own.
JG is in trouble here. Surrounded by 4 heroes. He is making a run for their money. Chris is much faster though, so this Coddle should eventually be able to chase him down. That Firefly is out, and Carlo Illuminates is not quite going to connect, and now down to the right clicks, but Carlo Able to jump in, throws in the hammer, burns him down, and Chris with the last hit. But,
Nice
it's not even too much of a costly chase because Yaoi also TP it into mid for the push with the catapult.
Yep, Box got the black hole up again as well, so really just going off the back of Yoi. This is one of those games where they might be able to get a free kill onto Mavis, which is very
doing damage to
fortunate
the
for
tower,
TNC,
though.
but
Right
they
time.
are, exactly. And only just after the fact popping the glyph, so really not getting the massive usage out of it. Counter glyph coming through.
Rage is up.
To be in position to be able to help this.
Oh, the tower's going to get denied at this pace. The catapult dropping it down to 84 HP. One more hit. Is it enough? Oh, too low damage roll. One more. Oh, the deny from Tiki. So no tower for you, but it's gone nevertheless.
You're generally alright with that though, right? Coddle's one of those heroes that, especially with this Boots of Travel, just wants to be roaming around the map, stealing away a lot of the net worth. You know, Batrider, Kunkka, they want to be going into the jungle, picking up some of these stacks, accelerating their farm in that way if they're not able to get it through kills. But if you've got a Coddle that's just TPing in, winning a team fight, and then converging into the jungle to take away those stacks, then where are you going to get your farm from on Made in Philippines?
I love one of these best things you can do in the early game as an Enigma if you know you're coming out of a good laning stage is the threat of appearing. Basically just teleports to the tower, throws in the Malefice, and instantly forces the Void away. Even if he's not quite at black hole range, everybody just left and just let him farm there easily. Because most of the time Enigma is going to get targeted. It's going to be the target of a lot of hate, usually because of his semi-low HP, semi-low armor pool. But, you know, he just forced 3 heroes away by himself. Mavis?
Poor Mavis. Probably just going to be going down again here. Losify won't need the full combo to be able to take him out, but just look at how much Made in Philippines is committing to make sure that they take all the stacks that they built up for themselves. They realize that with losing those towers, that threat is real of the Enigma, of the Dawnbreaker, of the Coddle coming in and just taking it away from you. So they were even dropping the Macro Pyre to be able to take out that Ancient stack. So now that they've claimed that, they're going to be breathing a little bit of sigh of relief. Okay, we've picked up that initial bit of farm. We really want to get this Blink Dagger up on JG and then, again, make use out of it. We need to get that kill, most notably onto the Coddle, so that we're able to snowball forward.
I wonder what the ping counters are looking like right now for this Mr. Kunkka, sir. Yaoi goes into the Roche Pit with the armlet. They could do this with the wards. But the scan, perfect timing. Absolutely perfect timing. And of course it has to be the man in charge of all the pings. Full-on combo coming out. Bash from Roshan. And that will enable the boat to connect on the Lifestealer. Another follow-up from T. Mavis has the Lifestealer inside. The Dawnbreaker has to intervene. Carlo come in. Macro Plier inside the pit. Yaoi down to 200. Oh! The lingering Macro Plier tick to take down the Lifestealer as the armlet toggles.
The armlet toggled. Oh, Yoi, not like this.
And Roche is about to fall. 400 HP. Rapido could walk into the pit to take this one. Flame Break doing some damage. Roche dies outside of the pit. Aegis is in the river. Chris will take up the Chrono coming in from Ken. Connecting on the Buck. He won't be able to get the black hole in time because the Avalanche is going to be there from Luzify.
Time dilation is
and
huge.
that's 2 heroes down. Chris slowing down Kunkka. The Vessel charges ticking in. Kunkka falling. Dawnbreaker down though first. And Rapido finally dead. And that is a costly price for TNC. Oh, goodness gracious. Aegis down. But is anybody coming to... They're not even buying back on the Enigma to come in for the saving black hole. They're just going to sack Chris.
Man, Yoi, you can't be doing that. You can't be giving your life away for free. They instantly realized it as well and Made in Philippines. And yeah, the ping man himself, really good presence of mind there coming through from Rapido to be able to instantly react to that Roche attempt. So
Imagine...
just small things.
Imagine if Roche didn't bash. He could have raged to dodge the bolt and they would have been able to walk out. But because of the whole sequence, being X-marked back into the Roche Pit and all these things, using the Infest on Mavis and it wasn't quite enough to save them. And then Roche is already too low and it's been 15 seconds since that started and Made in Philippines are already stacked up with full strength. Like, it all could have been averted with just a rage if Roche didn't bash.
This will provide.
Yeah.
Small,
Luck
it all comes
is
down to
a
small
factor.
things. Yes.
Yeah. Well, Krish is still at the top of the net worth right now. It is, of course, very important for him to have that BKB. it's like such a small spell a lot of the time that you don't really think of it. But time dilation absolutely ruined his damage output that team fight, right? Because he was there, he wanted to make sure that he was consistently spamming out the chakra magics, the illuminates, but you can't chakra magic if your cooldowns are just being slowed. So Ken really on point to be able to land that onto the Coddle. It's going to be the #1 priority, and I honestly think it's worth him popping the BKB, even if he only gets caught by the time dilation.
Sure are loving those invulnerable towers.
Bottom towers being sieged up here. Catapult doing some work. T-He, Ken, Lucify all around Carlo. Got the Life Stealer here to cut out the waves. Maybe even look for the tower denied. T-He really wants this one. And finally, Carlo shows himself. But no jump going to be able to connect into a hero. So they're done with the tower. They've already left the vicinity of the crime scene. And Rapido finds a Mavis. That X mark is going to run its course, though, so it's going to have to time that torrent to land on something else, but not really needed here. JG and Lucify both on the occasion, but now, bottom lane, they got the pick off, and now TPing in with 2. But they can't TP the Tiny. They can't TP the Kunkka anymore. He's already arrived here into this bot lane. Chrono will land. Target is the Life Stealer. Down to 700, and another onlet toggle to land, but the Black Hole's going to be there, not catching the Void, but has the Kunkka. And the heals from Carlo. We got a Life Stealer back at full HP. We're all good here.
It was even a pretty good use of the Aghanim Shard on the Jakiro. He's got the Liquid Frost, so that tiny little bit of a stun coming through, preventing the full duration of the Black Hole. And
yep.
Well, speaking of him previously.
Good toss, lasso there as well, but the heal is coming in with the Infest Bomb. Batrider down. Made in Philippines lose another here. What a
big part of that, of course, is just making
going back in again. He really wants this Enigma. Well, he's got it. Might die for it, but he's got it. The mission has been complete, and now towards T-He. Another one for the team TNC. Predator will take this one.
Could very easily drop the Mass Serpent wards here as well. You've got the creep wave pushing into the tower. Mavis would love to secure this one for free. Don't want to be giving away the wards for free to the creeps, though, but looks like Yoe will use the extra damage to be able to secure it for them. It's so important that the Enigma just stays alive, even if you've already used it.
Pretty big fight for him here if he can survive this 1 versus 2. No luck, though. Double dashes.
See, I like this a whole lot more on Ken. Like, he's going to have the time dilation maxed out. He's got the full BKB, so he's more capable of team fighting reliably. And then he can go into the Aghanim Shard after that. This feels like a whole lot more reliable to me, especially considering you've got BKBs coming away from the enemy team that you might be able to bait out.
Lift to defend the tower. They're jumping into the jungle at the same time. They've spotted Mavis. The Shaman going down. Enabling them to keep this push alive in the mid lane. Arcane as well on the Kunkka. That's a nice 2.8 second cooldown on the Tidebringer. Very handy.
I honestly wouldn't be surprised if T-He had the most building damage done again this game. Like, he is primarily focusing on doing this. Like, you would think Ice Path being maxed out as a support, pretty damn important. Of course, now, the 1 point is still pretty value, 1.6 duration. But the Liquid Fire, he's really just doing it for the entire team, making it so that Ken can focus not so much on towers and more just on making sure his farm keeps up with his cop.
Still a pretty even game in terms of economy, at least, as we're closing up on the 20-minute marker. Only a 1K lead, talking about hundreds here for TNC. How do you see this game evolve in the next 5 minutes? Because I'm believing we should be getting some semi-big items. At least we've got the BKB coming up for the Kunkka. And Enigma's looking pretty fresh. He's still halfway towards his BKB, though.
Yeah, Lifestealer's almost got an ultimate orb finished up for himself. Really just wanting to secure this continued tower push on TNC. They realized the importance. They gave away that first Roshan. They don't want to give away the second. So if they can take away this top tier 2, use that to secure the outpost, that's going to be a big win for them. But look at T-He, just continuing to abuse the fact that he went that level 10 talent for the extra attack range. On his own, he has nearly taken out this tower completely solo.
Solid work. It's an honest day's work playing a Jakiro. You're doing some good moves. I think you're the one who always highlights. Don't talk about the cores, talk about the supports. If I'm correct. I think Ares is more of a core type of guy.
He's a filthy offlane player. You know, we don't.
I'm also a filthy offlane player, but I do tend to give a lot of props to my pos 4 because it makes my life easy.
Absolutely. Look at this bait. They're standing right on top of this illusion rune in the top of the river, only just now picking it up as the smoke's about to wear off. Doesn't feel like they felt secure enough to be able to go for a gank attempt with the use of that smoke. So JP, he's just going to go back to farm. He's so close to being able to pick up the Blink Dagger for himself that he just feels like this is the best use of his time. And I agree with him.
They are chilling. They don't have much vision on the side of TNC's map, so I believe Mid and Philippines have kind of made the call that as long as the game stays like this, we're happy. We can keep stretching this further on. There's the MKB we talked about against the Aghanims potentially coming up with the Dawnbreaker in some phase of the game. Won't be missing too many hits. 60% evasion is pretty nice to have. So everybody else might be missing, but the Typebringer should still land. And now with the MKB is soon coming up, that will help the Chrono a lot. And Mid and Philippines, that's a very good flame break by JG. Keeping TNC at bay. Won't be able to chase for a kill. And that tower is now down to less than 500 HP. Roche, 2 minutes. That's a pretty long spawn, but it doesn't really favor either team currently.
No, I wouldn't say so. I mean, you're closing in on the Mjolnir on the Faceless Void, which will be pretty damn good. I mean, you're getting a lot of hits through on the Lifestealer, of course, the Eidolons if they turn to focus onto him. It's just going to be very easy ways to instantly clear those out, which is nice. Even the Mass Serpent was, to be honest. But the big thing for mine is just going to be they are so heavily based around this right-click damage for mine on Made in Philippines side, so that if they're able to stall it out long enough for Carlo to get his Aghanim Scepter, the game becomes so TNC favored, because suddenly, as long as he's not the one getting caught out by, you know, the Avatos combo, the Lasso, the Chronosphere, he's going to be able to save the Chrono target.
That's what they're looking to do as well. Like, as long as they can control the Faceless Void, maybe mistime the BKB, for example. One good Hex can completely counter the Chronosphere because they don't have a save for it.
Well, they found him.
Bot lane, Carlo being brought out for the safety of that tier 2 tower. Just blown up. Matter of seconds.
He made sure to buy out, though, before he died, so didn't lose any of that gold that he'd been spending a while picking up, and you can just see he's at the top of these supports in terms of net worth right now.
That is the Mjolnir now ready for Ken, and this bot tier 2 is about to fall. So even if they don't look at Roshan just quite yet, that is a big objective to be picked off, because that opens the outposts to be taken, both on the side of Mid and Philippines.
So it's going to lead them to have a little bit more of that experience advantage over time if they're able to maintain it. Really nice use of the scan, though. The fact that you're rotating through. Ooh, to get the toss back. It should be a death coming through from Mavis. Or maybe not.
That's a should be, but it might eventually still be the case. Lucify is already down. They can sack the Shaman for this, and the Black Hole almost catching the Faceless Void, but not quite enough. But Rupido is still dead nevertheless. Alphys is still available. BKB also for the Faceless Void. He already down. Lifestealer has been unleashed. Ken has to walk out with that Spirit Vessel. Lucify is also backing him up as the Royal Guard, so to say. But now with these 2 kills and the buyback out of the Tiny, they're starting to set their eyes towards Roshan, not necessarily take Roshan. But that's definitely an objective that they're keeping on their minds right now.
They had to use a lot to be able to win that engagement, force the buyback out of the Tiny, so they're a little bit hesitant to wanting to go into the Roche pit. Again, it's just all about waiting for your timings on TNC. 100 gold away from Carlo having that Aghanim Scepter for himself. It'll be such a huge utility for these upcoming fights, and again, he can just be pushing out this lane on the bottom side. He realizes the fact that, you know, good use of the Observer Wards, right? Sees the fact that the Bat Rider's looking to scout him out. TP's back, has that
Low ground
safety.
smoke, gonna be popped right away. Time walk in and out by Ken. Mavis down in just a matter of seconds. Tiny might just die back, and they're not finishing him off, and Ken goes in for the Chrono. Dawnbreaker coming in for the rescue. Look at the healing from this guy. And there we finally have Carlo arrive to the occasion with that Aghanims. And now Rapido with the BKB already running out, has to disengage. They only lost the Shaman. They could have easily lost 2 heroes there. Carlo to the rescue. Massive heals, Danog. I don't think I've really seen a Dawnbreaker ulti heal that much. But now you don't have it. Massoed up by the Batrider. And is also laid down and knocked into it as well. From the Flame Break into the Ice Pad, you got both the story of Ice and Fire.
Man, I just do need to give props to Made in Philippines, though. Like, they have been perfectly chain locking down Carlo whenever they've been able to catch him. Like, he's got the Essence Ring. He's got a fully charged Holy Locket. And then after that, of course, Celestial Hammer, one of the better abilities to be able to disengage as a pretty tanky hero. So if they're not being 100% perfect, 100-0, he's going to be able to survive a lot of these kill attempts. But, well, they've been on point so far. It's going to need to continue to be that way, though. Yoey, hopefully his armlet toggles are on point this time.
Yep.
They see where Bok is, though.
Pick up the healing for it. Might just be a volume number 2, but let's see what happens this time. It's still 3,300 HP on the life stealer. I think the last time he was only at 1,500 HP, so that's half. Stop the healing from the Coddle. A bit of blasts into Pit Chris. This position, Teehee, not quite yet. There's the Macropire into the pit. Who gets the last hit for it? It will be Yoey. And now goes in the life stealer with the Rage. Has to come back as well because they are already moving themselves away with the 4 staffs and the Blink Daggers.
Cute attempt there. Repeater using the X marks to be able to make sure that the Tiny was able to get out despite going for that little bit of a snatch, or the sniper way of the kill at least. But yeah, they were never in a position to want to contest that. Faceless Void, of course, while he is still very farmed at the top of the net worth, ahead of a Coddle at 27 minutes, which is, you know, big props to Ken, didn't have the Chronosphere. You needed that AoE lockdown potential to be able to truly contest that. And honestly, Open Wounds is a pretty significant spell for them to now have on TNC. Up against a bunch of tanky heroes, be very useful for just amping up that damage.
Dire's top tower is being attacked.
The cooldown is somewhat significant, but at least for hit-and-run style Dota, it does fit the Lifestealer pretty well. And going bottom to defense. Spot Lucifies Tiny behind enemy lines. And now they're TPing top for a response. Yoey, gotta be careful. Lasso's gotta be connecting. And Mavis is here for the Hex.
Good on Carlo.
That is a clocking chicken going forward. The boat's gonna be connecting, and a Chrono coming in as well. Carlo's gonna be inside this one too. And they can maybe take down Chris. Yes, they will. And here comes Carlo. He's a bit far away with that ulti, and he's instantly gone. And this is not looking good at all for TNC. Oh my goodness. It's not just one hero going down, it's 4. Trying to go for a bit of a man fight mode here. At least Lifestealer gets to keep his real life intact. Only the Aegis getting burnt, but that's a 4-for-1 trade. Killing the Tiny in the bot lane with the TP there to rescue ends up costing them a lot of heroes in the top lane.
It was a really good Chronosphere as well. Like, there was absolutely no way that you were going to be able to save both the Coddle as well as the other 2 targets within the Chronosphere with the Solar Guardian. Like, the radius just isn't big enough, so he chose to save the 2, but then just changing onto the Coddle instead, who still doesn't have the greatest mana, ended up costing him his life.
So, with control of both of the outposts, Ken just bought the Tome for himself. You hate to see that?
No, not necessarily. I feel like the backtrack is going to be pretty good, as well as, honestly, the Chronosphere AoE is a very useful tool for the exact reason I just said, right? Like, you want to make sure that you're nullifying the effect of the Dawnbreaker.
So this is the analyst Danog speaking, not the support Danog.
Correct.
Correct. All right. We stand corrected here. Tier 2 tower down. So that opens up the map again. Just a bit more. Made in Philippines only holding on to 2 more objectives. They could potentially look to fight around their outpost. They've got some decent vision here. What can they do against them? Bok is ready for the black hole of a lifetime. And there we go. They could all line up for this one. He's coming in. He's got them all stacked up, but he's waiting. He's waiting. He's waiting. They are not going to commit for it fully. Could have had a Fortnite black hole, but right now it looks like they're going to take the easy, safe route and hold it for a little bit longer. Lucify down.
They could have looked to commit everything in there, but as soon as that Solar Guardian comes down, they just back off completely. You cannot stand inside that if you're going up against the Dawnbreaker. Just the damage output is insane.
They still have the threat, the physical, physical threat, but the mental threat of the black hole still being out there. Smoking up, hunting for more. Rapido in front of the 2-2 tower. He
positioning
will
on
smoke
JG.
them up, and JG is on the cliff with the flame break.
Dire's middle tower is being attacked.
Do you see the ground is on fire? They've got they're up to something. Jakiro, and here goes Ken. He's got the Enigma. He's got the Shadow Shaman as well, but the Enigma goes down first. Maybe it's the follow. Double kill for Ken. Jakiro with the buyback as well to return into this. There's 6 seconds for a Rage. Lifestealer unable to get his life intact out of this one. Chris, oh, the Infest. He will just park next to the Lifestealer. Hop on, my friend. And here's the turnaround. Maybe Kent a fall. Ice Path saving there for him, at least if they were to follow it all the way to the low ground. Rapido in the middle. Carlo low on HP, but the heals are coming in. Chris, he saved this team fight, but can he save this the second part of it? JG trying to get out and will live. Joey gets the rage up
Man
just
fight.
before
Oh, the
the
bash.
Oh, the bash. Oh.
Sometimes it's just not your day, man. Those bashes were just getting him at the perfect time over and over again. Same sort of thing with the Coddle. You know, he had his cooldowns refreshed by using the Chakra Magic, and all he needed was just a split second to layer down the Illuminate, but it was just bash, 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 bash it to stun, meant that he wasn't able to get that continuous heal coming out. It's crazy how the tiniest of things can completely turn around a team fight.
Yeah, that's so many bashes that Homer Simpson never came back from the hedges. He stayed there.
He stayed.
Lucify on the hunt for another. Now Mavis. Let's get hexed up before his buddies arrived to get close enough for the hex. And Carlo is here to help his friend out. Doesn't get to throw his hammer, but Bok will go for the Bok hole. Catching two inside of it, Lucify and JG, but the wards were hitting the Tiny instead. Oh no. Empty-handed. Empty-handed. It was a valiant play, but they didn't kill, not the Tiny, not the Batrider. They killed themselves.
And now, again, Solar Guardian used. Serpent Wards used. Black Hole used. Everyone on Made in Philippines alive. 10 seconds left on the glyph, so should be able to still defend the high ground with that, plus a Keeper of the Light spam, excuse me. But still, just things going from bad to worse for the boys on TNC.
This is where Faces Void is at its peak. Backtrack talent. Even if he gets hit a couple times by the Lifestealer, might just end up dodging those hits. All the possibilities for Ken on this Faces Void. 10-0-9. Unkilled this game. He was close to dying the last team fight, but still so far from it. RNG has been his protector. His team has been his protector. Rapido has been pinging the opponents to death. It all seems to click.
They still feel like they can stay and fight. Again, no Serpent Wards, no Black Hole available as well. They're thinking maybe with the Spirit Form on the Coddle, they might be able to get something happening. Krish really just wants that instant pick off onto the backlines. But look at how tanky they all are. Even JG, like nearly 2.7k HP on a Batrider.
Now I'm starting to think if these are the things that are going to be looming in the heads of the Enigma players. You had a chance for a 4-man Black Hole, which you did not use. Opted to play it safe for later. Hex on the Faces Void. Bok still needs 50 seconds to be able to get a follow-up on this. They lost Mavis. They might lose even more. Yowei on the high ground, bashed and pushed by the waves. Everything is against them. Chrono is there, and they're going to target the call up. Nice hexed up. That's a very good hex that does come into play. And now to Yowei. They finally get the lasso. He's got 70 seconds, but the Faces Void is about to drop. But is it enough? Yes, it is. They're going to be able to get this kill. Jakiro going to be followed up as well. Bok with the 8 law is able to take down the Jakiro. Now chasing for more, but Rapido is able to TP away. And Kriz trying to give some vision with the Illumina, but there's nobody there. They got the Void, but they did lose the Lifestealer. So TNC holds for a bit longer.
They hold by the skin of their teeth. They actually didn't have the Black Hole. That was my mistake there in that fight. 4 people were just clumping up together, but Bok wasn't able to land it just yet. It's coming off cooldown now, though, and it's still a very long death timer on this Faceless Void. So let's see if they're able to push out the map, maybe get a little bit of this control back for themselves. It's the longest possible Roshan one. It was the full 3 minutes. So at least take back the outpost, get some vision up, maybe in some unorthodox positions. Any gems up, Batrider actually has it, plus the level 25 as well. So it's going to be hard to make anything clever happen. Maybe some Tinker Wards, you know, some really weird, unorthodox places for those Observer Wards to go.
And having a hero like Shadow Shaman with the Blink Hex is really good with those two, because you can always catch somebody off guard. And then you have the Shackles to follow it up too. So that's a lot of control. 6 second Shackles, 3.5 second Hex, 9.5 seconds of control. And by then you should already have almost your second ability back off cooldown. So Mavis isolates one. Best possible target would be the Faceless Void. Imagine getting a 6 second Shackle on the Void in a game like this that's almost 40 minutes in. What are the chances?
You'll need the BKB to be able to do that. Like, there's no way that he's not getting...
Lincolns as well, just to not get lassoed.
Yeah. Importantly, though, Yoe has reached... sorry, not Yoe. Carlo, who is equal level to Yoe, has reached his level 20. So he's got that Solar Guardian radius. It means that you're always going to be able to get some sort of save off with the Solar Guardian, right? You're not going to have another repeat scenario of the Tier 2 tower on top side where he was able to save two, but not the third in Krish. This time around, if you're getting Chrono, you're getting saved by the Solar Guardian. Poor Mavis, he's just praying, begging for this Roshan to respawn, but it's just gonna take longer and longer and longer.
Smoke pops. Lifestealer DD has been spotted. The ward's on the cliff as well. They know about it. Both teams know about it. Very good use. That will take away the DD. And jumping in. Orchid Silence comes out. Here's the lasso, but it's cancelled right away. He has a refresher though. He can do it again. They don't want to go out. They're just waiting for Roshan. Please just give us this Roshan already. 3-minute timer. They're going to be banging their heads.
But he has the refresher on the Batrider. I don't know if they've seen that just yet. Was a fresh purchase also maybe giving them the confidence of saying, well, he doesn't have a BKB either, so if a fight breaks out, we need to go.
Oh, I like this play. They tried to X-Mark toss the Lifestealer, but it doesn't work out. Gets hexed up first. Good idea. Roche is up now. They need to check it, check it, check it, check it, check it. Go into the pit. There we go. Scout it out now. Made in Philippines. They know Roche is up. If anybody has a Roche timer on their team, they should know about it. Nice D-ward.
They're scared though. Like let's put this real. This isn't some pub that has no stakes. This is win and you stay in, right? So they're going to be on edge. There's going to be a lot of nerves, and no one wants to give their life up for free. You'd much rather not make a play than be the one to throw it for your team. You know, so it's like. This is where the more experienced players really come to the front and say, this is how we're going to do it. You need to trust me. And, well, for TNC, even could be the difference of having Yoe have this wave, have the Satanic for himself, to be able to just be that tiny little bit more survivable, could be the thing that turns the tide.
Oh, these are the type of drafts you love to see in a soon starting late game. Very big abilities to use. We've got Black Holes, we've got big Chronos, we've got Lassos to interrupt, we've got Coddle to interrupt and disrupt. So many good spells. A lot of better
neutral items as well on Made in Philippines side. They've got the Timeless Relic and the Spell Prism, and it's only a flicker right now on TNC. Even though Carlo and Krish have been spending a decent amount of time inside the jungle, just trying to get a few more of those items for the rest of his team. Like, it's as good as 3,000 gold at this stage, which is pretty damn important when you're at a disadvantage of 5-6k.
Lifestealer with the Witchbane, that's a pretty interesting one. What can you purge?
You wanting to go for the Revenant's Brooch? Oh, Witchbane, sorry, I think you said Witchblade.
Oh yeah, Witchbane.
Time Dilation?
Yes.
Time Dilation could be good.
Or the Napalm, or the Jakira Slows.
Now that you think about it, Napalm might just be the most annoying ability, unless you have the Rage to squeeze in between. What can you purge of your opponents? I don't see too many buffs. Can you? You can't purge the bump. Yeah, you can't bump buff. Rum buff. Oh my god.
Not the Cocoa Rum.
Yeah, not that one. Close to 40 minutes. Yoe into the pit. Ice Pad is a bit short, but I think they saw him. Yes, they did. They saw him go into the pit. He's coming out as well. Refresher Shard. Roshan. Box got his eyes. He's got his sights on that refresher. He would love to have it. He has a Lincolns. He has a BKB. Interruption. Inside the pit. Yoe has started. Ken. Instant bash. That works.
want to see Krish buy up at least the Ghost Scepter portion of his E-Blade. Like, you might not need the damage component so far, but it's not going to leave you without the buyback. Of course, that's the thing that's most important right now. Let's actually have a quick look at who has and who doesn't. So right now, Lifestealer, Batrider, Shadow Shaman, the only ones that don't. So you would have to say that TNC are probably the ones that are wanting to play this a little bit more conservatively, at least until Yoe's picked that up for himself.
Native Philippines just went into the Roche pit themselves. TNC, who've been thinking that we're the ones controlling this area, might be too late for this one. Luminate will give a bit of information about this. It's connecting. They see spells flying in the pit. They need to go in right now. They're gonna miss the timing. They miss the opportunity. The Hex is there. They're gonna, but Ken still takes the Aegis. Nevertheless, he's got the Shard, and he has the Black Hole from Bok, and he's protected with it. They will blow up their first life, and Bok's TPing home.
TPing out.
He's had enough of this. He's just going all the way back home to leave, and he's lined up a refresher, but does he have the money to buy it? It's a big question. Dawnbreaker dealing some decent amount of damage. Gets the combo. Batrider shackled up, will be taken down. JG is gone, and Carlo to follow. Ken is hacking away, and Carlo trying to get some help here, but no. They will not get enough firepower inside the pit, so it's just the Coddle and the Enigma getting out. But the cheese, the refresher, the Aegis all took and taken fight Ken.
Man, I swear, Yoe was like mid-swing to deny that Aegis away. Like, he was that close with being able to pick that one up and potentially turn this team fight around. But again, lots of ultimates used. You still
refresher
didn't even... yeah, you got the Chronosphere on the Faceless Void without even using the refresher shard. He's still got BKB. He's still got DD.
The Enigma has a refresher orb now. He just bought it out, so he's able to get the second black hole. But does he use it right away? Is the big question.
He needs the follow-up damage, man.
He's popped it. He's popped it. What's the damage? Where is the source of damage coming? Dawnbreaker's 1. Solar Guardian in 5 seconds. And look for it. Looking for it. Has the catch on him. He's got the Faceless Void inside. The Tiny's inside it as well. Yule's into the air as well. And it might just be enough to save him. And that is going to be a disastrous ending for TNC. Can they still hold? Lifestealer's going to be up in 1 second. They've got the Kunkka shackled up, maximum duration, but Carlo's taken down. The Chrono on the Lifestealer and hacked down from 100 to 0.
Oh, I know.
Good night, TNC. You are gonna get smacked by Made in Philippines and Mavis.
We get another Rampage.
Maybe we do. We've got 1 Rampage in this entire tournament. Maybe Ken is given another, but nevertheless, TNC. Oh my god, we might actually see TNC get knocked out of Division 2, depending on another series, but it's out of their hands right now.
It is for sure. They're getting the pullback. They want the conversion, and Keeper of the Light, he's going to be going down as well. Unluckily for them, it's not the Rampage, but, well, Rapido, his voice line at the end says it all. Straight to the bottom with you. That's exactly where Made in Philippines have sent TNC. What a great performance by Ken. I really rated that. Obviously, the Aghanim shot coming a little bit later that time around than what we saw previously. It really felt like that BKB was the big difference maker that they needed to actually get consistent use out of it. And in those clutch team fights, it was Made in Philippines that come out slightly on top.
I guess this is one of those games where you can rate the RNG 10 out of 10. That was some beautiful bashing that was happening in this game. Ken 16-113 in the end. But TNC, a couple missed opportunities. And still, it looked like they could have won this game at any part if they could just handle out those team fights in 1 or 2 different fashions. But Made in Philippines just felt like they had more tools. Batrider on point, T-Heat, Chikiro on the like every time in the right place and being protected by his team. Luzify plays the sacrificial support role, only with 5 deaths in this game. And man, just... it hurts.
Did you see in that last fight that he Wind Wakered his Faceless Void? That's why he lived. It wasn't a Yules. It was a Wind Waker from the rest of his team. So it was pretty hype that Luzify was able to land that one, make sure that Ken survived and was able to convert into the game win for themselves. And pretty deflating for TNC, to be honest. You know, the fact that they were put into this position and now, again, their fate is out of their hands. It's going to need to rely on the result of Summit Atlantis going the way of Atlantis to, I believe, force a tiebreaker between TNC and Summit. And wouldn't that be a fitting way to be able to finish off the entire season of Division 2? Because if you remember all the way back, it was TNC and Summit that actually was the first game of the entire season, with Summit getting that surprise win in a 2-1 fashion. So I think that would be, at least for story purposes, a very cool way to be able to end things out.
That was, yeah, like, I'm kind of speechless in a sense because, you know, I had high hopes for the Enigma this game. We didn't get to see these big black holes, but he did say it's a tough game because of the chronos. He had to build BKB Lincolns to be able to dodge the lasso from the Batrider and stuff like that. So there's just too many tools on the side of Made in Philippines and TNC. Kind of, I mean, I guess they just missed their timing. It's hard to put this into one specific error or one dimensional way of thinking, because I think there was a lot of things that they were maybe lacking here.
They missed their timing, but I really want to give props to Made in Philippines. They identified the fact that outside of the black hole, literally the only lockdown that they had was on Mavis, and he died 15 times that game. He was almost always the main priority to be able to focus down, except if Krish was in a really bad position, which honestly, Krish wasn't. He wasn't in a bad position a lot of these times. He still did a good amount of damage, a good amount of healing for the rest of his team. It just wasn't enough, right? Like, he got unlucky with some of those bashes, for sure. Like, Ken was just a bash lord that game. And, you know, even in that last fight, I honestly think TNC could have turned it if he got a tiny bit luckier with being able to survive through that. So, yeah, them's the breaks. That's what happens when you bring RNG into a game. It's called random for a reason.
That for sure. And I believe we have on the line an interview player, not a player, but a manager, in this case from Made in Philippines. Hello there.
Hi, good evening. I'm really sorry that I'm the one who's here. My players
Oh,
are in nerves. Still
no,
nervous.
no need to be sorry about it. We're happy to have you
Nervous?
here. And you're probably feeling really happy that the boys took that victory in the end. How does it feel to take down TNC Predator in the end?
I think it's our revenge since last season, since they eliminated us last season. So I think the guys are great, but still they're nervous because that's an elimination match from them.
This was a pretty tough and pretty draining series as well. What was the feeling you had after the first game when TNC was up on the board 1-0? What was going through what was your thought process at the time?
Um, um, it's just Tihi misclick a hero. That isn't a Weaver last pick. So, but the guys told them that T, it's fine. Let's just play this game and let's just do what we practice. Yeah, basically it's a wrong pick.
TI incidents do happen in Division 2, Danog, as well. That's apparently a thing.
I'm just trying to think what hero it would have been. I'm having a look at the hero grid, and there's nothing really near Weaver unless he's got a custom pick for him. You were saying the guys are nervous. What are they nervous about? They just had a huge win.
No, I mean they said that hey Claude, just join the interview. We're still nervous as of the moment because it's an elimination match. I think we just need to cherish each other here in the Discord group. You know, that's what they said.
Okay, sounds good. They're a little shy as well, I think, but no, that's all good. Big congrats to the win. I want to ask a little bit about. I'm not sure if you're aware of the reasoning behind when it's bought and in what reasons, but with the Faceless Void going the Aghanim Shard, it's something that a lot of carries across the world have been starting to do a little bit more commonly. And throughout that game, I started to piece it together a little bit more. It feels like it's really good against those heroes like the Keeper of the Light, for example, or the Ember Spirit, or the Zeus that just want to be using these spells pretty frequently. But you waited until Ken had the BKB first before you went the Aghanim Shard. Was that something that you felt like you needed to be able to withstand the potential lockdown before you could initiate with it, or how do you feel it's strong?
I mean, as per the discussion earlier with Ken, he said that the shard in Faceless Void is really good. They saw it into Ame, so I think they just try to improvise it. So they just get first BKB because our usual problem in MIPH or way back then in UDV is like most of my cores don't prioritize the BKB, so they learn from their lesson way back then.
That's good. It's like a season-long lesson, right? Like you said, TNC were the ones to knock you out last time. Now you got your revenge. You've made a lot of those learnings. Do you feel like that was actually the difference between, being able to win this series and, if it was the same UDV, MIPH from last season, that you guys might have lost this game if you didn't have those learnings?
I think how to say this. I mean, we had some unfortunities on this tour trip because we don't have any boot camps. We're just playing online. But yeah, I think my kids are still learning. Still in the process of learning of everything. But currently, we are being picked up by our late organization, which is like the Sersha. So I think this organization helped us in everything that they can.
I love how you
And
say. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, with a new organization as well. Just while we've got you here, is there anywhere that people can follow it on social media just to keep track of the boys and how they're doing and any of their matches and that sort of thing?
Yes, you can search them in their Facebook account. They are really famous in terms of Valorant. Actually, they are in majors right now.
Oh.
Sersha. Just search
Can you
Sersha
spell it out
Esports.
for it so that
Xerxia. Yeah.
sounds good. Sounds good. What were
It's
you
our
going to
like
ask
it's
me?
our suffix in the it's the suffix inside the game.
If I heard you correct, you called your players your kids. How does it feel to be the dad of the team?
I mean, sometimes they're listening to me and sometimes they're not. So it's okay.
Just like kids, yeah.
Just like
I
kids.
just have one other question actually. You mentioned Teehee, the misclick with the Weaver pick, but I also remember, I think JG a month or two ago, he accidentally, when he was trying to rename himself, clicked recalibrate on his MMR and lost 1,000 MMR as a result of it. So is MIPH or Sersha now just the team of like misclicks? Like, what's going on?
No, I mean the first game it's the plan is to pick jug, but he didn't see that the jug is still open. So
Mm.
but his cursor is already on Weaver, so he picked the Weaver straight. Then the guy
Ah.
is like, "Hey, the jug is open. Okay, it's okay. Let's play."
All right,
That's it.
sounds good.
All right, I have one more question until I let you go. I just wanted to ask, what's the near future looking for you guys? You talked about the organization, but what about the team? Scrims playing maybe some tournaments. What's your plan? Because you've locked yourself into Division 2 for the next tour, and you got a lot of spare time, I guess, in between. Is there something that you guys are planning to do in the next few weeks or months?
With or without organization, we're still practicing and we're having our trainings, and we're just going to play the tournaments. We got some invites in other tournaments, and I think we will be focusing more on ESL Malaysia. Hope we can qualify over there.
All right, well, best of luck for you, and congratulations on your win, and congrats on staying in Division 2 as well. Enjoy the time you have in between. Thanks for taking the time for the interview.
Thank you.
That being said, we are on a pretty tight schedule because East Europe is kicking off in about 11, 12, 13 minutes or so. So, Danog, we're done with SCA for now. We both will be continuing over to East Europe for the next series. But a quick shout out to our, not only just you viewers, thank you for having all of you here. Stay on the channel, don't disappear. Just a quick shout out to our sponsors, to Mate. If you haven't heard of Mate, you might as well Google that. They're an energy drink, a natural energy drink, basically made out of natural stuff, and pretty tasty. Might as well go take a try for it. More day, more night. And of course, 188bet, the official betting sponsor as well for SEA DPC. BTS.gg/188bet. Go and check them out. Danog, any last remarks before we head over to a break?
No, congrats to MIPH and their proud dad for being able to secure them the W and then just take on the responsibility of saying, "Don't worry, boys, I got this." Giving us a nice interview, and yeah, like he was saying, make sure to follow them on their new social media. Big congrats for them to being picked up by an organization as well. So yeah, stick around, guys. We've still got that Eastern European series coming up, which is again one that has some stakes. I believe it's PuckChamp Hydra, unless I'm wrong.
Yep, that's the right. And talking about stakes, let's get those stakes. We'll be back in just a bit.